is Leslie M. Thornton with Transformational Stories. This is number 6. So, speaking of manifestation, I have another interesting manifestation story. It was summer of 2016, and I had been working with another gal at the coffee shop, and she was telling me about how she was adopting 2 new kittens, and what she was going to name them, and all of her plans for these cats, and all that kind of thing. And then she turns around and asks me the question, how about you, Leslie? Would you ever get a cat or a dog or a pet or anything? And I said, only if one showed up on my doorstep. I wouldn't just go to the pet store and decide to buy a pet. And as a side note to that, that was the same thing that I said about skydiving. I said I would never plan a time to go skydiving. It would just have to be something that would come to me. And so I tell her this about the cat, and then literally, the next day, our doorbell rings, and it's our upstairs neighbor with a tiny little black kitten, and says it's a stray cat, she can't find its owner, she has 2 dogs, and it doesn't get along with the cat. Would we take this cat? So I tell her, I'm like, literally yesterday, Rachel, I just told my coworker that only if a cat or a dog landed on my doorstep would I ever get one. And so here's my doorstep, and here's a kitten, and my boyfriend at the time wanted the cat, and we ended up having to wait 2 full weeks because we were on vacation, and we were actually babysitting another cat. And I just said, listen, if we're really supposed to have this cat, it's still going to be there in 2 weeks. Sure enough, this cat was still there in 2 weeks, and we ended up with our cat, Jorge. And my takeaway from that one was that, because Jorge ended up teaching me a lot about being responsible for something other than myself, taking care of something else. And the breakdowns that came in, we thought that he had fleas at one point, and I wasn't expecting to have to do all this work, and realizing this is what having an animal is. It's having responsibilities. And so for me, it was seeing that sometimes we're given things in life, like cats on our doorstep, that are going to teach us really valuable lessons, and just trusting that and choosing to look at those situations and our breakdowns as opportunities for growth and learning. And to wrap up the skydiving story as well, I ended up meeting this person who is in love with skydiving, and invited me to come down to the skydiving ranch in New Paltz, New York, and just check it out and just see what it's like. No pressure to skydive, but in the back of my mind, I know I'm being led to my first skydiving trip. And sure enough, I ended up skydiving that day, and it came to me, and the cat came to me. So sometimes we can just trust that exactly what we need, when we need it, is gonna just come. That's Transformational Story number 6 with Leslie M. Thornton.